Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
What's her name? Susie, the one with the
Miss
steamboat.
Susie had a steamboat. The steamboat had a bell. Ding, ding. The Susie went to heaven. The steamboat went to hello, operator. Please give me number 9. And if you disconnect me, I'll kick you from behind the refrigerator. There was a piece of glass. Miss Susie sat upon it and broke her little.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for the 2024 NBA draft because it's here. I mean, it's not here like right now, but it'll be here soon.
I'm ready.
It is the week of the draft. Night 1 on Wednesday, Barclays Center, Brooklyn. Can't wait for that. We'll talk through it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, about 20 minutes, Michael Eaves going to join me. He, of course, works at ESPN, hosts SportsCenter. I'll talk to him about a number of things, including, you won't believe what happened this weekend. Scottie Scheffler won another golf tournament. That's 6 so far this year. First person to win 6 before July 1st on the PGA Tour since Arnold Palmer. Even Tiger Woods didn't do this. Scottie Scheffler.
How about that?
Seems to be pretty good at golf. I'll talk to Michael Eaves. He's going to be here in the next segment. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know. At which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Memphis football program got a big commitment this weekend. One of the best quarterback prospects in the country, highest rated recruiting program history. I'll tell you about him. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. Chicago's Angel Reese recorded her 8th straight double-double this weekend. 88-87 victory over Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. Great moment for the WNBA. We'll discuss that in just a bit. We have a new Dear Jane.
Uh-oh, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. This one, it involves a child's birthday party.
Okay.
And some weird parents, I think, all the way around. I'll walk you through the situation. We'll figure out how we'll mock these. We'll make fun of these people. Then we'll figure out how we'd handle this situation. We'll do that in the third segment. Mets closer Edwin Diaz was ejected from Sunday night baseball last night. He had sticky stuff on his pitching hand. He's now facing a 10-game suspension. I'll tell you what happened a little later on in the show. And David Cohn, he's one of the color analysts for Sunday Night Baseball. I don't know if you were watching last night, Mets Cubs. He made fun of a fan who was caught on camera out in the stands.
Okay.
It felt inappropriate to me. I'm going to show it to you, and you can tell me if it felt inappropriate to you. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start the 2024 NBA Draft because the 2024 NBA Draft, it is this week starting Wednesday night in Brooklyn. It's a 2-night draft, Big Bet Bennett. Have you wrapped your head around that yet? We're going to do this for 2 nights. We're going to select players 2 straight nights.
You know what? I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. First off, just seeing how it looks and everything, like how they try to do night 2. But, I mean, let's face it, like night 2, we've never cared about it. It's never been that big of a deal, right? Like most other drafts, especially like the NFL draft, like the second day's massive. You can get players that help your team that season. It's a little different with the NBA. So I'm interested to see how they do the actual TV product for night 2 with something
I can tell you how. Bronny.
If he doesn't get drafted in the first round.
He's not getting drafted. I'll bet your beard right now.
Okay.
I'll bet your beard. If Bronny James is not selected on Wednesday night, you got to shave it off, Big Bet Bennett. Can you do it?
No.
Can you commit to it?
No, I can't commit to that.
Let's see how much faith you have in Bronny James as a draft prospect.
I can't commit to that.
That's what they'll do. And that's why it'll work, I guess, in this year. But I do think, though the NFL, there's clearly a market for it, an audience for it, because outside of the first round, things that happen in the NFL draft do matter.
Yes.
Outside of the first round, things that happen in the NBA draft don't typically matter. I know they sometimes do. Nikola Jokic was drafted in the second round, but also, famously, he was drafted during a commercial break.
During a Taco Bell commercial.
Yeah. Nothing really. The second round of the NBA draft is, it's people trying to wrap their heads around what happened in the first round of the NBA draft while we take players every few minutes. So I don't think they did this the perfect way in a vacuum. In other words, if we can agree most people don't care about the second round of the NBA draft, then we have to agree it's going to be hard to get people to care about night 2 of the NBA draft when all it is second round picks. Like, night 1 of the NBA draft, which used to be the only night of the NBA draft, people might hang around and watch the second round. You want to know why? Because they were watching the first round and it's just on still. And that's the way we consume television. We turn it on because we want to watch it, and then we keep it on until we fall asleep or until it's over. That's the way television consumption often works. And so you can get an audience for the second round of the NBA draft as long as it immediately follows the first round. As long as pick 31 comes right after pick 30. Because we just I don't even know where my remote control is. I guess I'll keep watching this. Plus, by then, they've already built up this story. Like, so-and-so was projected to go 18th, and he's still sitting in the green room. Now you're like, God, I don't really care about this draft anymore, but I kind of want to see where this young man's going to get picked, how far he slides. They got a camera right in his face. I guess I'll keep it on. Much different to ask people to come back a night later and say, hey, everybody, starting at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to have pick 31. You don't have the built-in audience that you had the day before. It won't work well, I don't think, in most years. What I would do if you're just committed to making it a 2-night event, I would do the lottery on night 1. And then I would pick up right after the lottery on night 2. That way you still got first-round picks on night 2, and then you can knock out the second round as well. But that gives you something, like, hey, we're lottery's out of the way, but we still got teams selected in the first round. There's still recognizable players, a green room, all that. That makes some sense to me. That's not the way they're going to do it. They might reconsider down the road. But for now, it's going to be first round on Wednesday, second round on Thursday. And the reason it might do well is because of the presence of Bronny James. Like, he will be sitting somewhere on Thursday night waiting to get picked. And the big story will be, does anybody get him before the Lakers get him at 55? If he's still available at 55, do the Lakers take him? And if not, oh boy, does that damage the relationship with LeBron James? If they do take him, does that ensure that LeBron James re-signs with the Lakers? So that'll be the dominant storyline narrative on night 2. But in most years, night 2 of the NBA draft, if it's just the second round, not going to be something too many people care about it. You'll watch it. I'll watch it. It's our job. But just you're trying to bring in casual fans. The NBA draft is not the NFL draft. It doesn't resonate in that way. Either way, I don't love it Because that means I got to put a suit on 2 nights in a row instead of one.
Yeah.
I kind of like just putting a suit on one night in the summer. You know, I don't put suits on in the summer too often, right?
Yep.
This is where I get everything dry cleaned. I put it in a closet and it just stays there for a little while. But, you know, later on tonight, I got to pack a couple of suits because I'm flying to New York tomorrow. I'll be in Stamford, Connecticut on Wednesday and Thursday night for CBS Sports HQ in studio. Analyzing the picks as they come off the board. And as we sit here at 10:10 Central, 2 days before the 2024 NBA draft, it is still very much up in the air what the Atlanta Hawks are going to do with the first pick, or even if they'll use it. There's some thought they could move it. There's some thought that they could be on the verge of breaking up Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. For much of this past year, Alex Sarr has been considered by most to be the best prospect available in this draft. But he's no longer the favorite to be the number 1 pick in this draft, in part because he has so far refused to go to Atlanta and work out. This is something we talked about last week. It got reported, I believe, for the first time. The Hawks had brought in Donovan Clingan. They had brought in Zachary Richichet. They had brought in Reed Sheppard, and clearly they wanted to bring in Alex Sarr as well. For people unfamiliar, because he played in France as opposed to, say, you know, Kentucky or Arkansas. He's a 7'1" center, projects as an impactful defensive rim protector, shot alterer. The NBA comp that you hear a lot is Jaren Jackson Jr., although Jaren is more developed offensively than Alex Sarr is at this point, and arguably Jaren was more developed offensively at the same age as Alex Sarr is right now. But that's what people say. If the three-point shot becomes a little more reliable, the defensive stuff is already there. In the spirit of flying around and blocking shots and altering shots, being able to move his feet, guard in space, think Jaren Jackson Jr. if the shot comes around. So that's the prospect we're dealing with here. And in a draft that is perceived to be weaker than most, if I tell a franchise like Atlanta, you can get Jaren Jackson Jr. with the number 1 pick in this draft, you'd be interested in at least considering that.
Yes.
Depending on what you think of Clingan and Richichet and Sheppard and anybody else who is projected in the top 5 or 10. But Alex Sarr has so far declined invitations to go to Atlanta and work out, and all indications are, again, just 2 days out from the draft, he's not going to go to Atlanta. Let me stop you here. If Atlanta was... They'd been to France, back and forth. They've been evaluating prospects for multiple years now. If you're in that front office and you say, it's clear to me. It might not be clear to most. It might not be clear to anybody other than me. But it's clear to me Alex Sarr is the best prospect in this draft. And I know that he hasn't come here to meet with us and work out with us because the reporting is that he's more comfortable going to Washington. And Washington would be happy to take him at 2. So Alex Sarr is fine going at number 2 to Washington. And the best way to ensure that's where you end up is to be difficult with Atlanta. Don't cooperate at all. If you're Atlanta and you believe that he's the best prospect, but he's not cooperating with you, would you take him anyway?
Yeah. If I had a conviction, yeah.
If I had a conviction, I think I would.
I think he's the best player in the draft.
I just don't think I would have that strong of a conviction about him.
And about this draft, right? That's
like here,
the problem.
I guess here would be the thing. Let's say it's the exact same scenario last year. You've got the number 1 pick, and for whatever reason, Victor Wembanyama will not come work out with you. We're taking him no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But, buddy, we'll see you at the draft. But we're taking you, and then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Retire?
No, you're going to come.
You're going to come
sign your contract,
and we'll make you happy. All right? We'll win you over once you get here. We'd love to win you over before you get here, but if we can't, we'll just win you over once you get here. But we're taking you no matter what. If I had that kind of conviction about Alex Sarr, I would take him no matter what.
Yes.
If he were Victor Wembanyama, I would take him no matter what. The problem is, I do think it's reasonable to have a different opinion about who the best prospect in this draft is, and you could maybe have 4 different opinions. Ask different NBA evaluators, you will get these answers. Some people will say Alex Sarr. Some people will say Zachary Richichet. Some people will say Donovan Clingan. Some people will say Reed Sheppard. And you might even get a Stephon Castle or a Ron Holland. This is very unusual. In the mock draft that I just sent to my editors this morning, I have Donovan Clingan going 7th. And I want to be, or no, I don't. I'm sorry. I have him going third, just because I think he's going to come off the board in that range. Because if Houston doesn't want him, somebody's going to come up and get him. So I have Clingan coming off the board at 3, one way or another. All right. Sam Vecini has him coming off the board first to Atlanta, and I think Jonathan Gavoni right now has him coming off the board 7th.
He does, yes, in his latest draft.
So just as somebody who does this every year, I can just tell you it is highly unusual 2 days before the draft to look at 3 mock drafts from, big media outlets and see one of them say this person should go number 1, this person should go number 3, this person should go number 7. Same person. Could go anywhere between 1 and 7. I don't think that's technically true, but you get the point. Clingan could go 1st or 7th. That is wildly unusual. And so the only thing that I think maybe makes it a moot conversation about should Atlanta take Alex Sarr no matter what is because they probably don't feel, even if they had him number 1 on their big board, they probably don't have a conviction about it that strong to compensate for the lack of interest Sarr seems to have in Atlanta. They might just be like, yeah, we'd rather have Sarr than Clingan, but Clingan wants to be here and came here and we're comfortable. And Sarr hasn't done any of those things and hasn't made us comfortable. So let's just go this other direction. They are also reportedly putting out little hints like, hey, we might take him anyway. But there's some thought that they're just saying that to see if Washington would be willing to move up because Washington wants him. Hey, if you don't come get him, we might just take him anyway. But most people seem to believe the Wizards will just call their bluff there and say, we don't think you'll do it. We don't think you're going to do it. And if you do, we'll deal with that. But we don't think you're going to take Alex Sarr, so we don't feel like we got to move up to take him. We'll just sit here and we'll wait for you to take somebody else, and then we'll scoop him up at 2. But that's where we're at 2 days out of the draft. Michael Eaves is going to come up next. I want to talk to him about a number of things, including Scottie Scheffler winning another tournament, the Travelers, this weekend. Also, he's a Kentucky fan. He's a Kentucky guy. What does he think of Reed Sheppard? What does he think of Rob Dillingham? Both of those guys are likely to go in the top 10, certainly the lottery. Sheppard, top 5. Michael Eaves has seen him a lot. What does he think of him? I'll ask him next. It's the Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
If you look at it as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Grizz Girls are no ordinary dance team. They're known across the NBA for setting the standard for world-class dance and entertainment. From hip-hop to jazz, the Grizz Girls do it all. And they're looking for talented dancers with dynamic personalities to join the team. Do you have what it takes to join a premier NBA dance team and entertain Grizz Nation both on the court and in the community? Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information and show us what you've got at open auditions Saturday, July 13th.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Look at the score. Look at the score he does this.
Hey, but look at the bench, though.
Look at number 3.
Right before I walked in the locker room, Danny Ainge pulled me to the side and said, hey, Tony Allen, come here. Let me give you a little basketball etiquette. When you're down 40, do not do an in-game windmill. It's just disgusting for the game.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. We have another edition. This will be the 3rd edition of the Debate Club. You guys are going to sell a shoe to Mr. Bennett Doyle, our producer over here.
Oh, yeah.
I saw these.
I've seen these.
I saw these on social media too.
It's the perfect house shoe.
I know, right?
Like,
Yeah, it's not even a house shoe. I bet you they're really comfortable. You know, you heard of unisex. This is unifoot. Oh my God.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Bill Ford Tough Studio. And on Mondays in the second segment, I'm joined by ESPN's Michael Eaves. He's here right now. Michael Eaves, it's GP. How you doing?
What's up, brother? How you been?
Everything's good in my world. I appreciate you being here. We had another weekend, another golf tournament. Surprise, surprise. Scottie Scheffler won it. That's 6 wins so far this year. And this surprised me when I read it. First person to win 6 times on the tour before July 1st since Arnold Palmer in 1962. Even Tiger Woods never did what we're watching Scottie Scheffler do right now. Just for people who don't follow it as closely as I know you do, make sense of what we're watching with what is undeniably the world's best golfer.
I think what he's doing right now reminds us of Steph Curry's first MVP season, where no matter who they were playing, the Warriors, no matter where they were playing, Steph was going to go off. Every night you expect him to hit, 5 or 6 threes and drop 30 points. That is the level of dominance that Scottie Scheffler's playing with right now, and all the other players expect him to do it. That's the difference, right? It's one thing if you think a great athlete's going to go out and play well, or maybe not every outing, but everyone expects Scottie Scheffler to be in the hunt by the time you get to the weekend. If he's at the top of the leaderboard, most people expect him now to win. That's where he's at. He thinks if he plays well, no one's going to beat him, and the rest of the field believes that as well, and we saw that over the weekend here in Connecticut.
Meantime, there was a live event in Nashville, and it just occurred to me as those words come out of my mouth, I don't even know who won it. All right? I just saw it, and I saw big crowds, and I guess that shouldn't be a surprise, like Liv got big crowds in Nashville. Yeah, that makes sense. But I had friends who were thinking about going, and they were like, tickets are hard to get or very expensive. And yet I'm sitting here right now and I have no idea who won the event. Update us on where you think this is headed and how long these two tours will coexist, competing with each other on some terms.
I don't know when this thing is going to change its course, Gary, because every time we think we know, something else happens. Right. And let me say this. I think it's let me rephrase that. It's in the best interest of the players currently playing the LIV Tour for some type of agreement with the PGA Tour to come together rather quickly. I do not believe that if these two tours continue to sort of be competitors, if you will, that LIV could last much longer. Just because I don't believe the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia will continue to fund the tour if it's not getting the return on its investment that it expected. And right now, it's not doing that. It's nowhere close to doing that. And you not knowing who won that golf tournament or people not knowing where they could watch it on television is a prime example of that. Right. Terrell Hatton won. Okay. But I just know that because I'm a golf nerd and I pay attention to it. The average sports fan has no idea they had an event in Nashville. And to your point, who won it, right? So from the PIF standpoint, they're not getting the return on the investment they expected right now. So I don't think they would do it forever, even though if they had that money, right? Now, the way Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy and Patrick Cantlay and some of the power players on the policy board and some of the subcommittees have looked at this thing, they all look through it through a different prism. So in that regard, if there's no sort of unilateral viewpoint here, how can this thing get done anytime soon? I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen by the end of this year. I'll tell you that right now.
Talking to Michael Eaves from ESPN. Big headline in recent days. The press conference will be held later this afternoon. J.J. Redick will be introduced as the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know how much you worked with J.J., but obviously it's a big jump to go from television to coaching arguably the most glamorous franchise in American sports. Do you have an idea about how this thing's going to go?
I don't. And I don't know J.J., that well to know. I've seen him on television. Yeah. I've watched, some clips from his podcast. I believe he's very, very smart. I think he has a very high basketball IQ, but there are a lot of people who've had that and didn't turn out to be good coaches. Magic Johnson's a good example. Who had a higher basketball IQ than Magic? But that doesn't mean you can lead men and lead basketball players to some type of common goal and ultimately a championship. I literally don't know. And I guess Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss, with some help from LeBron James, believe they have an idea of what he can do. And even in the course of conversations and interviews, maybe he's given them an indication. But I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. JJ doesn't know. JJ thinks he knows, but he doesn't know for certain. Now, we will say this. There have been other coaches, usually in other sports, that we've seen make the jump from no previous head coaching experience, maybe even come out of the broadcast booth. Rob Brindley with the Arizona Diamondbacks is a good example, who ultimately won a World Series. It is possible, but you have to have a complete buy-in by the players, and you better have some damn good players on your team. So we assume JJ has that, at least from LeBron, in terms of A, the buy-in, and B, being a great player. But what about the other guys? And what if it starts to go wrong? Then how will LeBron support JJ in that regard? Darvin Ham clearly did not have the support of LeBron and Anthony Davis at the end. That's why he's gone so quickly. But if JJ walks in with that support, I think it bodes well for him in the immediacy.
You touch on something I think is very important, because we've all at this point seen JJ talk about basketball on television, on the podcast. He's obviously gifted at that. But there's a big difference between being able to talk about basketball and even draw things up on a board and actually like coaching and managing people. I've been to enough coaching clinics over the years. We all can agree there are great coaches and not so great coaches. I'm just telling you, they can all get on the dry erase board. All of them. They all know how to, teach you how to guard ball screens and this action. And then, like, you got to get can you lead? Can you make quick decisions on the fly? Can you navigate egos? That is as much a part of coaching in that league as anything else. And I'm with you. I can look at JJ and go, I could see it working. He's clearly bright. But until you get in it and know how to navigate that stuff, you have no idea what you're doing.
There's so many facets to coaching that the average person just doesn't quite understand. And you pretty much named all of them. There is game preparation. There is in-game adjustments. There is the management of rotations. And there's the management of egos and people, because you got to manage your coaching staff as well. There's so many things that go into it. And that's why it's a really hard profession to do well and have that job for a long time. It's really hard. And if you really think about it, there's only been a handful of coaches who've been really good at it for a long time. So again, we don't know, but at least the acumen is there. We're going to find out how well he manages people pretty quickly.
That's right. Talking to Michael Eaves here from ESPN. NBA draft is this week, a two-night NBA draft. First night on Wednesday, and there's some Kentucky Wildcats that are going to come off the board pretty quickly. You've seen them as much as anybody. Just do you believe in Reed Sheppard as an NBA player?
Oh, absolutely.
I do
yeah,
too.
Absolutely. 100%. Speaking of basketball IQ, his IQ's off the charts. And, even as you get to the top level of basketball, where so many guys have high IQ, not everybody in the league does. Some guys get there purely on athleticism. So if you have that IQ, that bodes well for you. But, oh, by the way, he's a damn good athlete, too. I mean, He's probably the closest thing we've had to, like, Rex Chapman since Rex Chapman. Maybe Jeff Sheppard, his dad, was sort of in that regard as well. Tyler Hero. I'm naming all the white players that came through Kentucky that were athletes. But that's what he's going to get compared to, obviously, and that's why I make that joke. But, no, I think all those things he has will bode well for him, especially the way the NBA game is played now. You don't have to be as physical as you did 15, 20 years ago. For him to be able to find space and create opportunities off the bounce, I think he's going to have a really long career. I really do.
I'm a believer, too. He's my favorite player in this draft. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, yeah, I hear you, but, like, if he was 3 inches taller, then I would take him number one. And I'm like, imagine saying that about Steph Curry once upon a time, because people did. That's why Steph Curry didn't go 1, 2, 3, or 4 in a draft, is because people were concerned about his size, whether he's really a lead guard. All the shot-making stuff was on display at Davidson, and it translated to the NBA no problem. And I really think when this plays out, and it's a draft prospect. We've all been wrong before. We might be wrong again, but the shot-making stuff's going to be there. You're going to see he can be lead guard in the NBA, and he's a better athlete than people realize, and he's similarly sized to Steph. I'm not saying he's going to beat Steph Curry, but I would take him number 1 in this draft. I feel like he's going to – I would take him number 1 in this draft. I feel like
I think for a lot of teams, Gary, that they will probably go back to that lack of size to validate his selection at number 1. Right. Now, but we could look back 5-6 years from now, look at this draft, and like, damn, why didn't they take Reed Sheppard number 1? He was clearly the best player in the draft, right? Because you go back and look where Steph ended up. And actually, even when Steph, his first couple years in the league, because he had the ankle issues, they're like, yeah, he's not strong enough to play in the league. He's too fragile. He's too small. And oh, by the way, he's won 4 championships and he's a multiple-time MVP. So sometimes your ability and your IQ trumps everything, and that's what we're going to have to see from Reed Sheppard.
I think we have reached a point. Maybe not everybody is in agreement that he's the best prospect in the draft, but pretty much everybody agrees he's a top 5 prospect in the draft, and he's not going to slip very far. Rob Dillingham, another Kentucky Wildcat, a little more divisive because he is on the small side. He does have real defensive concerns, but he's an incredible shot creator, shot maker, offensive player. What do you make of him as an NBA prospect?
I think the team that drafts him will recognize those shortcomings that you mentioned and realize his upside is greater than his deficits. And the way the game is played now with so much spacing, he's going to be able to get off his shot on a regular basis, right? Now, certain matchups, you've got certain players guarding you. That can change. But on a nightly basis, he's going to be able to score. And in today's league, you got to be able to score if you're a team to keep up with someone, especially the team that plays with a lot of pace. Let's put him with the Indiana Pacers, for example. I'm just giving you a perfect fit for him, even though they're not drafting that high. He could go off. Or maybe with the Sacramento Kings, the way Malik Monk plays with them. He would be great in that system. Or with the Phoenix Suns, potentially. He's a guy that's going to be instant offense whenever he's on the court. And maybe he's your ideal 6 man. Coming off with the second unit, and you got instant offense as soon as he steps on the court. So, yeah, his game and Reed Sheppard's game are completely different, but I think in today's NBA, they can both be successful.
Less heralded than those guys, but somebody who I do think wherever he's picked, we're going to look up in 2 years and be like, oh, yeah, he's in the NBA making shots. Antonio Reeves is going to play in that league, isn't he?
Yes, 100%. Yes. Because he can score. He has size. Right. And he can defend maybe a little better than those other guys, even though he hasn't been necessarily asked to do so on a consistent basis. But, yeah, he's just too good of a scorer not to be in today's league, 100%.
Wrapping up here with Michael Eaves from ESPN. Last thing before I let you go, this is the first year we're ever going to have a 2-night NBA draft, and there'll be an audience for the second night, presumably because Bronny James will still be available, and the entire show will likely large parts of it will be built around him and whether somebody will take him before the Lakers pick 55th. And if he's available at 55, do the Lakers take him or not? Most are operating under the assumption that he will last to 55. LA will take him. He'll be on a team with his father next season. Is that your assumption as well, or is there some real intrigue there for you?
I think that's the only intrigue, is if he lasts for the Lakers and they take him. And if he gets that far down the line and then the Lakers are forced to take him, right? I mean, that's sort of the prevailing notion here. Right. Look, I've seen him play a few times, obviously. He did have the health condition that really kind of got in the way of his development there at USC, especially the beginning part of the season. But everyone says the same thing, that he's not a first-round draft pick, right? Is he a second-round draft pick? And for him, would it be better not to get drafted? You can pick and choose where you go. In some regards, that might be better because the second round's not guaranteed a contract. It's intriguing only because of who his dad is. Right. And in some regards, Gary, I hate that.
Right.
I hate that for the kid. Because if he was any other kid, we wouldn't be talking about him. We'd probably be shaming him for even coming out into the draft. But because of his father, he has the expectation that he can be better than he showed at USC. And some teams may take that leap just because who his dad is. Like, I get it from an intrigue standpoint, but I hate that that's really going to be the only thing that determines where this kid ends up playing in the NBA, as opposed to his own personal development as a quality basketball player. But it's the world we live in, bro. It's a TikTok world.
That's where we are. It's Michael Eaves from ESPN. Make sure you find him on X/Twitter at Michael Eaves. That's at Michael Eaves. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being here.
All right, man. Be good.
I'll see you. Bye-bye. Michael Eaves from ESPN, and I think that's where we're headed. Just, he's only worked out for 2 teams so far, Lakers and Suns. Mm-hmm. I just don't know why, if you're not in the LeBron James business, you would want to be in the Bronny James business. And I know Rich Paul has said, they're not tied together. If somebody else wants to take Bronny, they can take him. And if you do take him, it doesn't mean that LeBron's coming there. And, oh, by the way, if the Lakers take him, it doesn't mean that LeBron's staying. Like, these two situations are
awkward,
are completely different. I don't buy any of that.
No, absolutely.
You ready for this?
It goes,
there's no. Here's something Rich Paul said that I just do not believe. If the Lakers take Bronny, it doesn't necessarily mean LeBron will re-sign with the Lakers. He said that last week. I don't buy that at all.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. No, I mean, it all goes back to, and I mean, you can like say different things in retrospect or whatever, but like LeBron said himself, he wanted to play basketball with his kid.
They've tried to back off of that because it didn't play. That turned into
it messes it up this time of year, right?
It just turned into a negative thing.
Yeah,
it just turned into a negative thing. So they've tried to back off of that a little bit, but I just can't. Knowing how much family and his children mean to him, and knowing that he has previously said it is my dream goal to play with my son, there's just no scenario where the Lakers would take your son at 55 and then you would leave the Lakers.
Right.
That's just not happening. The question would become, the Lakers don't take him at 55. Like, he's available at 55 and they just don't take him.
Because we know LeBron does not care about the draft for a long time now.
Like, they come
when
out,
it relates to his team that he's on.
They come out at 55 and they just take David Jones.
Right.
With the 50, and like LeBron's like, what? I would.
Oh, I could see that.
If I were the Lakers, I would be scared to pass on Bronny James at 55.
It's a second-round pick.
Who cares? Just take it.
You're the Lakers.
You have still a guy who's a top 15 player in the world, even at this age. He just is still one of the best players in the world. He was third-team All-NBA this season. He's still one of the best players in the world. He's not what he once was, but he's still one of the best players in the world.
Right.
And all we have to do to keep him happy, and that's a part of it. It's not just keep him here, keep him happy. You don't want disgruntled LeBron here. It's not just that's the thing that gets lost in all this stuff. Well, like, what is he? What is he going to do? Then leave? Maybe. But even if he stays, you ask anybody who deals with, quote, talent. You know what you don't want when you deal with talent? Disgruntled talent. It's not fun. Just make people feel like, man, this is the place I want to be, and there's nowhere else I want to be. That's an important thing that people who manage other people have to deal with, particularly when you're dealing with people who have options. LeBron James quite literally has options. So you don't want him to just be there because he feels like there's no better place for him to be. You want him to be happy about the place that he's at. And I would just be scared if I was LA's front office that if I don't take him at 55, I got to go talk to this guy about why we didn't do it.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. Plus then he is a billionaire. I know Rich Paul has said, listen, LeBron's not just going to take, because this was one of the ones floating around. The Suns take Bronny. LeBron signs a vet minimum deal with Phoenix and just goes plays with KD and Devin Booker, and they try to do that, try to win a championship in Phoenix. Rich Paul has said he's not going to take a vet minimum contract in Phoenix. We can squash that right now, right? Which I believe is probably, but like, you just never know if you make somebody mad. Like, you make LeBron, you pass on Bronny. LeBron takes that personally, to quote Michael Jordan, and then he just says, you know what, I will go take a veteran minimum somewhere else. F you guys, I'm out. I'll go take a veteran minimum and try to win a I'll go take a veteran minimum against a West Coast rival to try to damage you while winning another championship for me, and I'll do it for no money just to prove a point. Like, you just don't want to get into those. Right now, they're saying he ain't taking veteran money. He ain't taking a veteran minimum contract. All right? So that means his best option is probably you. All right? Don't do anything to mess that up. Just take Bronny James 50. That's where we're headed. I'd be surprised. But, that'll be the storyline connected to the second night of the draft, assuming he doesn't come off the books in the first round. And at this point, nobody thinks he's coming off the books in the first round. We come back. Hey, big development Memphis football this weekend.
Hey.
Highest rated recruit in program history.
Let's go.
One of the best available quarterbacks on the market, class of 2025, pocket passer, has committed to Ryan Silverfield's Tigers. Big development. He picked them over Florida. FedEx money coming in handy.
Love it.
Looks like it. We'll discuss that story next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Shall we talk about our favorite NBA Finals MVPs? Number 3 is a little bit of Canadian history because it's the first and only NBA championship that the country as a whole has. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard's second finals MVP. I still get my little heart warm even thinking about it, and I was there watching every game. IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If you look at it as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's her name? Susie, the one with the
Miss
steamboat.
Susie had a steamboat. The steamboat had a bell. Ding ding. The Susie went to heaven. The steamboat went to hello, operator. Please give me number 9. And if you disconnect me, I'll kick you from behind the refrigerator. There was a piece of glass. Miss Susie sat upon it and broke her little.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Big headline, Memphis football this weekend. Antoine Hill Jr., 4-star quarterback from Georgia, has committed to the Tigers. He did it on Instagram Live. Quavo was involved.
I saw Quavo.
It's a big deal. Shouts to Quavo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I hope him and Offset are getting along okay these days.
Yep.
You know, they had a little family friction,
I saw that.
I gather. But, you know, sometimes families go through stuff, you know? Hopefully they're
It's a good graphic.
That is a nice graphic, isn't it?
I didn't notice the FedEx boxes at his feet last time. That's pretty good. It's a nice touch. Nice touch.
Crack them open, just cash falls out of it.
Yep.
Obviously, this is great for Ryan Silverfield. It is great for the Memphis football program. This should be, if things go well, this should be the heir apparent to Seth Hennigan, right? Seth Hennigan plays one more year with the Tigers, and then it's Antoine Hill time.
You would think so.
I mean, if you're going to invest, and we don't have a dollar figure on it. He didn't brag about the amount of money like Coleman Hawkins did.
Right. That's right.
But it has to be substantial, and it has to be heavily reliant on the NIL package that's in place. And I actually think this is smart for Memphis, but even smarter for Antoine Hill. And let me be clear. I didn't know anything about this person until this weekend, all right? I don't follow college football recruiting that closely. But, again, highest-rated recruit in program history and one of the best, depending on what recruiting service you use, one of the best maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks available, you know, at this point in the calendar. Again, class of 2025. He could have picked Florida or some Big Ten program or SEC program. But you know what happens when you're a quarterback, high school quarterback, even a heralded one, and you pick one of those places? You know what happens to you? You almost certainly don't play for a while.
Right. You rarely see like the true freshman starting quarterbacks for those big time schools.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, Trevor Lawrence became the starter, but it wasn't like in week one.
Right.
And, take a look down in Austin, Texas at what's going on. The most heralded quarterback, another Manning. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him throw a football.
I haven't either.
All right. So I have been talking about this on the basketball side of things for a while now, but it works similarly on the football side of things. If one of my sons was a heralded prospect right now, like good enough to go to a Tennessee or an Alabama or Florida, good enough to get a scholarship offer from them, but not good enough to like go in and start from day one. All right? I would be looking at programs like Memphis coming out of high school. And I'm going to be clear. I'll walk you through the whole process the way I would do it. I would shop myself to the best like group of 5 type schools where I felt like I will go in and be the starting quarterback from day one. Like, it starts with believing in yourself.
Sure.
Like, I'm going to be good at this, all right? Rather than pick Alabama. Like, your options are Alabama or Memphis. Just play along here. You go to Alabama. First, they already got 3 quarterbacks in the program better than you, and they probably about to sign another one who's better than you, all right? Plus, you have no idea what they're going to do in the transfer portal. You don't know who's going to be there by the time you get there. I told you I had a buddy whose son was a really good baseball player, right? And went to Kentucky. And part of the reason he signed with Kentucky was because at the position he played, it looked like it was going to be opened up. And he might really be able to compete for a starting job at that position as a true freshman. And between the time he signed with Kentucky and enrolled at Kentucky, they had gone out and got a transfer portal, same position player who was just 4 years older and whatever, and he just didn't know what he was walking into, right?
Yes.
This is going to happen all over the country now. So if you're Antoine Hill, you could commit to Florida this weekend or Alabama this weekend. You are probably way down the depth chart when you enroll, and you don't even know how far down, but definitely down it, all right? You can reasonably assume Memphis ain't going to have anybody more talented than you. You don't want to know why? Because you're quite literally the highest rated recruit in program history. They don't get people more talented than you, not coming out of high school. So get as much money as you can get right now to go to Memphis, all right? Then when you get to Memphis, what are you going to do? Theoretically, play immediately. Then if you are who you think you are, how are you going to play? Well. And if you play well at Memphis, guess what happens next? Bigger offers from bigger schools.
That's true.
The $2 million offer, $3 million offer, that ain't coming to you if you're the 4th-string quarterback at Alabama or the 3rd-string quarterback at Florida for 2 years. You know when that $2 million, $3 million, $4 million offer is coming to you? When you are the AAC Offensive Player of the Year as a true freshman, something like that. And they go, my God, the freshman quarterback at Memphis is, and I promise, I'm not trying to get him to Memphis, be awesome, and then get him right out of here. But this is the way it's going to work. You go to Memphis, you ball out, and now everybody who needs a quarterback at the power conference level is trying to get you into the transfer portal for a lot of money. And at that point, Memphis still got the FedEx money.
That's true. Yeah.
You can always just say, hey, man, we're the ones who believed in you first, gave you this opportunity. There ain't no reason for you to leave.
Here's another box.
And here's another box.
Yeah, right.
So I think, I don't know Antoine Hill at all, or the people around him, his family, but this is the way I would do it. If my son had an option to go be the 3rd-string quarterback at Florida as a freshman or the starting quarterback at Memphis in this NIL world and with transfer waivers being available for everybody, this is where we would start. You only get, in theory, 4 years, right? 4 seasons to make money playing college football.
Yep.
Well, we're going to play every year, and we're going to make as much money as we can make every year. And that's why we ain't starting on the bench. You go to Florida, you're starting on the bench. You go to Alabama, you're starting on the bench. You go to Texas, you're starting on the bench. With rare exceptions, you go to a place like that as a true freshman quarterback, you're starting on the bench. You might not play at all as a freshman. You might redshirt the whole thing. But at Memphis, you can reasonably, if you're Antoine Hill, if you're this level of prospect, you can reasonably expect to go to Memphis and play quickly. And if you do that and you're good, well, then the bigger offers start coming. Then you can decide, hey, do I just want to ride this thing out at Memphis for as much money we can make at Memphis? Or Now is it time to go to Florida? In other words, don't go to Florida as a high school quarterback. Go to Florida as a transfer quarterback after it's already clear when you transfer there, you know exactly what you're walking into, you know exactly who you're competing with, and you know exactly whether you can be the starting quarterback or not. Impossible to know that as a starting quarterback in high school right now at a place like Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, whatever. At a place like Memphis, you can reasonably assume I'm going to be the guy the moment I step on campus. And those FedEx boxes make it worth doing. So congrats to him. Congrats to Ryan and the Memphis football program.
Awesome. Ryan's having an amazing offseason.
They're setting this thing up nicely. Yeah. I think it really does start with the bowl game victory. You know, you win a bowl game, and then you bring your quarterback back. You get, a high-level quarterback who will have no impact on this upcoming season, but still, like a good Memphis football headline was out there this weekend on a national level. Like the story I call up, it comes straight from ESPN.com, right? This is a big headline connected to Memphis football, and now, they're going to be favored to win their league and, could be in the, first expanded college football playoff. Like, it's all good stuff with Memphis football right now. Yeah, it really is. And we didn't know, as last season, we talked about it enough, they were beating the teams they were supposed to beat and losing to the teams they were supposed to lose to. Good record, but not a lot of quality victories in there. We didn't know where this thing was headed. But they won the bowl game. That provided real momentum and like a real signature, like, hey, we did something. This league that said they didn't want us, we just beat this team from their league. And everything since then, whether it's the FedEx announcement or this development, it's just been a lot of good, positive stuff with Memphis football. And, we'll see what the next one is, but this latest one's a good one.
Number 2.
Big-time WNBA game again this weekend. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Final score, Chicago Sky 88, Indiana Fever 87. The Sky snapped the Fever's 4-game winning streak. And it was Angel Reese who went wild.
She went off.
25 points. She took over in the fourth. She was 8 of 12 from the field, added 16 rebounds, 1 assist, gave a great post-game interview. This is happening. We knew that they would get attention just because they were super famous coming into the league, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but they're performing. That's the thing. It's not like neither one of them has been what you would call disappointing. I know Caitlin team got off to a rough start. The shooting percentages weren't great, but both of these things are true right now. This was Angel Reese's 8th straight double-double. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have both already. You just go to ESPN Stats and Info where they tweet these little things. They're doing things that have never been done in the WNBA by women their age, by rookie players. They're both not only living up to expectations, they're exceeding them on the court. And the off-the-court stuff still continues to, it was impossible to be on social media yesterday and not realize that Angel Reese did something awesome.
Right.
You were going to see that. You couldn't be on social media yesterday without knowing, man, I don't know what time this game is or when it was or how it, but Angel Reese must have done something big today. First, she had the pregame outfit. Those are starting to get attention just like they do with NBA players. So that was plastered everywhere. She looked great. And then she delivered 25 points and 16 rebounds. That's a big 8 straight double-double as a rookie. And this comes after, I guess it was Caitlin and the Fever played in Atlanta on Friday night. Sold out, State Farm Arena.
Yeah.
Just sold out. And Dan Wolken was there because he lives there, wrote a column about it for USA Today, and he was like, you guys can keep pretending this isn't a thing, but I watched Kevin Durant come to Atlanta, and he doesn't fill this building up like this. This is not normal, this Caitlin Clark thing. And she's, again, a little rocky here and there, learning curves, all that stuff, but she is performing at an elite level for a rookie. Angel Reese is as well. And all of this, and honestly, having the Sky and Fever against each other in back-to-back weekends, big time. I don't know if you saw because they were on CBS last weekend.
Yes.
Highest rated, most watched WNBA game in 23 years.
How about that?
Really in this time where NBA's over, I love baseball, but, most sports fans just ignore it. As much as you can get Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on a court together, on the networks on the weekends, I mean, it's
sign me up.
Sign me up too. It works. And so it all comes when, I don't know if you saw this, Casey Wasserman, who's the head of the Los Angeles Olympic Committee.
Okay.
he was asked about the whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese.
Not making the team.
Yeah, and it eventually turned to that. And I think we're done with that conversation at this point because it was one of those interesting conversations where no matter what your opinion was, you could back it up with something. It's a little bit like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. Like no matter what GOAT debate, LeBron, Michael, I can give you 30 good bullet points to use in favor of Michael Jordan. I give you 30 to use in favor of LeBron James, and you can just argue it forever, back and forth, and nobody's really budging. And that's what the whole should Caitlin Clark have been on the Olympic team thing, that's what it felt like to me.
Yep.
Like I could make the case for her. I did. And it's all these like growing the game and eyeballs and all that. But if somebody's just going to settle in on the other side and say, yeah, but she's not one of the best 12, and so we're only taking the best 12. Like if they're not going to move off of that, then there's nowhere to go. So you had constantly people making arguments for both sides, and they're both pretty good arguments, or at least they're both sensible arguments. So you go nowhere. That's honestly what made it. I don't know if it was great television, but such constant television is because you had a lot of times you watch these people argue on TV, they have to make themselves argue about stuff. This is one where it felt, that's why it got louder. Everything got louder. And it wasn't just people wanted to scream, it's because people really believed what they were saying because you could make sensible arguments on either side. Either way, Casey Wasserman was asked about it, and he said, what I think most of us who were on the side of Caitlin should have been on this team, it's basically where we landed. You know what he said? He said, I understand the decision to leave her off, but it was a missed opportunity. And that's all that I don't want to say that's all I said, but that's the centerpiece of what I and others had said. It was just a missed opportunity. The counter argument was it's not the U.S. Olympic Committee's job to grow the game. It's just to build a team that can win a gold medal. Build the best team possible. Well, I think there's some space in between those two things, because you don't have to build the best team possible to build a team that can win a gold medal. You could take any of those 12 women off of that team and put Caitlin Clark on, and they would still win the gold medal. You ready for this? You could take 6 of those women off the team and replace them with 6 other American women, and they would still win the gold medal. You ready for this? You could take all 12 of the women off the team, disqualify them all, pick 12 new American women, they would still win the gold medal. So the idea that it's their job to win the gold medal, well, you could do that with Caitlin Clark or without Caitlin Clark. You could do it with me or without me. You got most of the best players in the world. You're going to win this thing really no matter who you send. You get the point.
Yep.
So that's what most of us meant, and I think Casey Wasserman as well, when he missed opportunity. You could have built a gold medal winning team led by A'ja Wilson, and then just by having Caitlin Clark's presence be a part of it, you get more eyeballs on A'ja Wilson. You get more eyeballs on the other women. And that's how you start to actually grow the game. Then people, you know what they decide? They came for Caitlin Clark, but they fell in love with A'ja Wilson because Caitlin Clark's playing 11 minutes a game in the Olympics, and it's A'ja Wilson who's the star. Well, now you're selling those jerseys, right? You can't fall in love with somebody until you see it, right? And Caitlin Clark is the glasses that you can put on if you'll follow along here. She's glasses for everybody. She makes people watch who otherwise wouldn't watch. What happened Friday night in Atlanta is an example of that. They've been playing WNBA games in Atlanta for a while. They don't fill that building up. Caitlin Clark filled the building up. There will be people who will going to watch USA women's basketball no matter what, but you would have had more people watching if she would have just been a part of it, whether she was playing or not, if she'd have just been a part of it. And that's how I think you can reasonably describe this whole thing as a missed opportunity. Plus, you get her part of USA basketball, that way 2028 is not her first experience. It could be her second coming off of 2024. But whatever. What's done is done. They're playing in the WNBA for now, and it was another big stage for both Caitlin and Angel yesterday. And this time, Angel was the one who delivered. They both delivered in their own ways, but Angel Reese was the star, undeniably.
Number 3.
We got a new Dear Jane.
What's going on?
Okay. I got problems with a lot of people involved in this one.
Okay.
All right. I don't think I'm happy with anybody here. Now, this ain't as scandalous as some of these Dear Janes we get, I mean, we've broken up marriages in this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
It's gotten crazy.
I don't think anybody's marriage is broken up here, but it's a dilemma for sure. Let me read it to you.
Let's hear it.
Okay. It comes from a mother, all right? A mother of a son, a young son. She says she feels like she's ruined her son's life.
Ooh.
And I'd say, as a parent, sometimes you do have these feelings about, you almost never really ruined your kid's life unless, like, somebody lost a limb or something.
Mm-hmm.
But short of that, you can recover. And even with that, right?
Sure.
I guess. All right. But this is the way she feels. She feels like she ruined her kid's life. Let me just read you the letter. Enough of me. Can I just read you the letter?
Let's hear it.
Dear Jane, I feel like I've ruined my son's life. I told you that's how she felt. That's how she started the letter. At least his social life. And it's all because of a stupid birthday party. Follow along, Bennett. This whole saga started when my 6-year-old son was invited to a classmate's 6th birthday celebration in our local park back in March. The invitation was sent via email to all of the parents in the class, and when I received it, I admit I was pretty shocked. Because in addition to listing all of the standard birthday party details, time, location, dress code, the invitation also came with a link to a gift registry filled with items that the little boy was hoping for, as well as a request from his parents to inform them which option we planned to choose so they could avoid double-ups. Personally, I can't stand the thought of wasting money on silly things like plastic toys and brain-rotting junk, particularly when kids are so young and particularly when I don't really know the child or their parents. Plus, none of the gifts on the list were less than $40, which I just think is crazy. So I emailed back, thanking them for the invitation, but explaining that if a gift was required, I'd prefer one of my own choosing. They responded saying that they had carefully chosen the selection of items for their son and that if I wasn't willing to adhere to the list, they'd prefer I didn't bring a gift at all. So I didn't. I took my son to the birthday party thinking all would be well, but as soon as I got there and saw the heaping table of gifts, I knew I was in trouble. And what do you know? Part of the party proceedings involved a ridiculously over-the-top gift opening session during which all of the children were asked to sit in a circle around the birthday boy and his presents so he could unwrap them and give each of them a personal thank you. Obviously, when he got to my son, there was nothing to open, and his parents simply said, loudly enough for everyone to hear, well, he didn't want to bring a gift, at which point the birthday boy actually burst into tears. From there, the party was a nightmare. None of the other children would talk to my son, and I whipped him out of there as soon as possible before they'd even cut the cake. Since then, he's effectively been shunned by everyone in his class, and he has been left out of every other birthday party. I have no idea what to do here. My 6-year-old is miserable, and all because I decided to take a stupid stand against something so small and petty. I feel horrible about it, but I'm completely clueless about how to fix it. I'm tempted to throw an over-the-top party for all the kids in his class just to show them how wonderful my son really is, but I don't know if that will fix the problem. What would you do? This comes from a woman who calls herself the party pooper.
I actually hate everyone
I
involved
hate everybody in
this.
this.
Yeah, everyone involved in this messed up big time. First, starting with the stupid gift registry, that's insane.
Insane.
I go to my kid's 5, so right in that range. I go to birthday parties it's literally my life.
You go to birthday every weekend?
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
Every single freaking weekend. So the gift registry thing is stupid. I'd never heard of that. Second, like, it's so easy now to return things, like, because let's face it, most gifts that you're getting, like kids' toys, that's coming from Target or Amazon.
Of course.
It's easy to return that stuff and get something else or get a gift card or whatever. So a gift registry, worrying about doubling up, stupid.
Right.
Second off, $40 minimum is outrageous, buddy. We spending $20 a pop on these birthday
Bennett
parties.
says 20 is the number.
No, 20 is the number. All right.
I'll go higher.
I'm just saying, like, my stance is everybody's getting a $20 birthday present. All right. And it can change a little bit, but like a $40 minimum is outrageous. That's crazy to me. And then the biggest thing that drives me the most crazy about these people, we're done. And granted, we did this a little bit, I think, when I was a kid, if I can remember, but done are the days of opening presents in front of all the other kids.
Do you know I have a big anxiety issue with that? I can't open presents. Like, I can't do it.
It's just
like, I'm not comfortable opening presents. Like at Christmas, I make my kids open my present. I can't. The actual act of opening, I can't do it.
Dude, and the thing is like...
And I know I'm crazy. I know that makes me crazy.
That is a little crazy.
I don't like... I get uncomfortable. I don't know how to... I probably don't even want or need what I'm about to open, and I'm not real great at like being like, oh, wow, this is the best sweater ever. And so I really get uncomfortable. If I ever have to, like, there's no getting around it, I have to open a gift, this is crazy. I actually observe the room and I wait till something else is happening.
And then you open it.
And hopefully, like, while nobody's looking. Yeah.
That's a little strange.
Yeah. I actually observe the room and I'm like, okay, so-and-so's telling a story over there. Everybody's looking over there. I'll open it real quick and I'll be like, oh, thank you. And then I'll just shut up again.
Yeah.
Or I'll just leave the room. I can't tell you how many times I've walked out of my mother-in-law's house with just like 4 unwrapped presents. I just won't open them. I'm just like, I'll open them when I get home. And then I'll send a text message that says thank you or something. But the act of doing it's really hard for me.
Yeah. So it's just never a good idea to open the presents with all the other kids present because one, kids are unfiltered, and so you're risking your child, the birthday child,
opening up and saying, I don't want this, or
sucks.
I already have this, or this is a girl's toy, or this is a boy's toy, or whatever. You just you can run into stuff.
Yeah, so you open that up, and then also the other kids, your guests, they're not there to watch the kid open presents.
Nobody's
they're there
having
to play.
fun. Nobody's having fun. It's not fun for anybody.
Yeah, you're there to run around, play.
Yes.
You know, a lot of these places, like we went to the trampoline place last weekend, and you have a time limit, and so instead of opening presents, it's, hey, you got 15 more minutes. Go get it out of your
Let's
system.
play. We can open presents later.
Exactly.
And I think that's the right move.
Now, so these people are crazy, and we acknowledge that off the front end.
Yes.
Now, the person that sent the Dear Jane
also crazy.
Is also crazy.
Right.
You cannot take that stance.
Just what are you even fighting with somebody? Do you know how little I care about your kid's birthday party? The idea that I would email you to contest something is outrageous. Like, I don't even you're lucky if I even know where it's at.
Right.
5 minutes before I have to be there. Okay? No, so if I got that email that said, hey, little Johnny's having a birthday party this weekend, your boy's invited, here's the gifts, we need something off this registry, please tell me what it is you bought so that we don't, I would think you're insane. Mm-hmm. I would read that email and I would forward it to like my friends, and I'd be like,
look at this.
This person is insane. All right. But then you know what I would do? I would just buy the gift and do it, or not. I might forget one of the two. Mm. But there's no scenario where I would be like, I don't think this is appropriate. I'm going to email this person.
No.
And I'd just be like, I think you're crazy, but I also don't care if you're crazy. And I will now either do as you asked or I won't. But I ain't going to talk about it.
No.
Not even for 45 seconds. So I think the woman or man, whoever made this gift registry for a 6-year-old, that's bananas. You're a weirdo.
Yeah,
all right?
weird.
But to argue with them about it is also weird. I hate everybody in this whole story.
I do too, because I mean, like me, I would have probably just ignored the gift registry.
That's 100% what I would have done.
Whatever I was going to get.
I would have ignored the gift registry, showed up with an A. Denali bag, and been like, "Happy birthday,
happy birthday," and everyone would have been totally
fine. It'd have been fine.
Now, the most egregious is the party parents calling out that person in front of the kid and making that's everyone upset. Like, you're a horrible person.
Yeah,
for
because
that.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, somebody else's financial situation.
Absolutely.
Earlier I was like, oh, I'll spend more, but I understand. But some people can't. Like, $40 is really, that puts a dent in somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't like. I swear I have young kids who have birthday parties too.
Mm-hmm. Every weekend.
Like
if you don't have kids and you're thinking about or on the fence or something like that, just know you're going to a birthday party every single weekend at least the first 8 years.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. You should get your kids' class and your kids' baseball, soccer team, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just anywhere, and your kids' neighborhood friends. Like, whatever the pool of kids are that might be in your universe.
Yeah.
And you gotta when's your birthday? Let's get everybody's birthday. And this way I think children's birthday parties should be. All right. We're doing all the June birthdays. We're gonna have one birthday party for all the kids in June. Everybody can come. Mm-hmm. You can't have me out there every Saturday.
It's wild.
I can't go to a birthday party every Saturday. And I also think this should just be understood among all adults. Mm. Mom and dad don't both have to come. One parent.
Oh, yeah.
Bring the kids.
That's what we do.
You don't have to both be there.
No.
And then you can
switch
swap it off.
Yep.
You can go sometimes, I'll go sometimes. But we don't have to both ruin our day.
Correct.
Because nobody wants to be with all due respect, we love your kids and stuff, but nobody wants to be at a kid's birthday party.
No.
I mean, except for other kids. And even then, I don't even know.
It depends on the setting,
so
but most of the time that's true.
I love your kids. I buy the gifts. I I appreciate the pizza or whatever you got there, but like I would always rather be doing something else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You ready for this? I would always rather be doing something else than be at my own kid's birthday party.
Correct.
You know?
Yes.
You know? So like we should be a little more understanding among adults. This ain't fun for any of us. All right?
No, it's not.
It's not fun for any of us.
No, it's not.
These people are all bananas. But we still got to solve this. She asked, what do you do? What do you do now? Other kids are making fun of your kid and shunning him.
I think honestly, her idea is probably the only great idea is to have a party and show how great your kid is.
You're gonna have to buy your kids' friends back.
You're gonna have to buy your kids' friends back.
Yeah.
Get some goodie bags.
Yeah.
Have a cool.
Have
place.
the coolest party you can have for your kid.
Yeah.
Isn't that teaching bad lessons though?
Well, I mean, what are we trying to accomplish here?
That's right.
You know.
Yeah. We're possibly teaching bad lessons, but we're just trying to get through the week, right? We're just trying to get.
Yeah.
Just trying to make things more pleasant for our kid at school. I think maybe just throw a big party and
just throw a big
invite
party
them but no gift registries.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
Man, if somebody sent me, here's the thing: I would ignore it. I would just ignore it.
I would ignore it,
and not even intentionally. I would just ignore it the same way I ignore everything else that I don't want to pay attention to.
Correct.
But like that's a bananas thing to do. Just know if you're a parent out there and you think your 6-year-old needs a gift registry, the other parents are going to think you're nuts if you send that email.
Yes,
because you are.
Yep.
All
right.
Number 4.
Edwin Diaz ejected.
I saw.
Man, I was so excited. Sunday night baseball. Mets are hitting the ball all over Wrigley. 5-2 lead. Here comes Sugar Diaz. Man, this is a good Sunday night.
Yeah.
They checked his hands. He had sticky stuff on his hands. They ejected him.
Yeah.
He said it was just rosin and sweat. He says just rosin and sweat.
That's what they always say.
You know what the crew chief said? I love this quote. I say this as a Mets fan.
Okay.
Like things are going well. This didn't need to happen. About to lose Edwin Diaz for 10 games, probably automatic suspension. You know what the crew chief said? He said, because they went to Edwin Diaz, he said, it was just rosin and sweat. I use the same stuff every time. It's rosin and sweat. They went to the crew chief. You know what he said? Quote, it definitely wasn't rosin and sweat. We've checked thousands of these. I know what that feeling is. That was very sticky.
Yeah, I mean.
I love how they come out and say, but it wasn't. It wasn't rosin and sweat. Because this is what they do every day.
Yes.
9 times a day.
You see it every game. Yeah.
They check hands all day long. They know what it's supposed to be. They know what it's not supposed to be. He got caught cheating. He did. I say this as a Mets fan. He got caught cheating. Is it understandable to you how people get caught in, like when you hear about Ryan Garcia performance-enhancing drugs, or Edwin Diaz sticky stuff on his hands, or way back in the day, George Brett had the bat all sticky, pine tar. And, a cork bat. I guess that was Sammy Sosa once upon a time. I've always rules are rules and you shouldn't. I would teach my kids not to do this, I guess. But think about it. The human aspect never is lost on me. You're Edwin Diaz. 2 years ago, you had one of the greatest seasons in the history of closers. All right? The trumpets. You became a thing that even people outside of baseball were like, oh, he's the guy with the trumpets, right? He became a thing.
Yeah.
All right? Then, if you remember World Baseball Classic,
got hurt.
Missed all of last season.
Yep.
Comes back this season. Hadn't been great. He'd been getting hit. They just sent him down. Like he lost his job for a minute after signing the richest contract in closer history. It's like $20 million a year, something like that. The closers don't get paid like that. So you have one of the greatest seasons that any closer has ever had. Sign one of the best contracts in the history of relief pitching, get hurt, come back, you're not getting people out. Wouldn't you cheat?
I think, yeah.
If you thought there was a chance I won't get caught, I'm always just interested in people who, whether it's Lance Armstrong, Barry Bonds, these people who clearly made a choice at some point, I have to cheat. And when they make that choice, it is because they feel like if I don't, I can't do what it is I'm trying to do. Imagine getting into that headspace. Like if there was some pill you could take and it would make you 10 times better at your job. Because that's what performance-enhancing can do for people. I mean, I'm making up numbers here, but like, Barry Bonds was always awesome, but he got really awesome.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong could always ride a bike, but not like this. Edwin Diaz been getting people out forever, but he clearly got to a point where he felt like he needed some help, right? He clearly reached that point. They checked it. Hey, 2 years ago when he was having the best season ever, they checked his hands every inning. They never saw this. But he comes back after injury, gets roughed up, and now he feels like I need something else or I can't do my job.
Yeah.
That must be a scary place to get.
I think so. I mean, I can see because your first thought when you see all this stuff is, come on, man, like you're going to get caught. But if you think that there's a chance that you won't.
Or even this, if you think you can't get them out if you don't.
Right.
It's that one too. There's a chance I might not get caught, and I don't know if I can get out of this thing if I don't have some help. So let me get some help. Once that gets into your head, that's a scary place to be.
I think so.
Well, for the Mets, I hope I hope he's found not guilty by a jury of his peers.
I don't think so.
But
I think this case is closed, man.
Looks like it was closed.
Suspension incoming.
The umps were pretty definitive. He said, it's just sweat and rosin. They said it definitely wasn't just sweat and rosin.
It was not, sir.
Yeah. So,
apologies.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Somebody else can pitch the ninth.
Number 5.
Tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
So we're watching Sunday Night Baseball last night. It's Mets-Cubs. And lo and behold, guess who's sitting right there, front row?
Who?
Dave Matthews.
Oh, yeah, I saw people posting that.
So Dave Matthews right there at Wrigley. So they go to, they show Dave Matthews. And then they spot, a cameraman, somebody, spots a guy in the crowd at Wrigley in the bleachers in a Dave Matthews Band shirt. So Boog Shambi, who's terrific, is sort of making the point like, man, look at this. What if a fella in the Dave Matthews shirt all the way out in the outfield knew that Dave Matthews is sitting right there? Wouldn't he think that's cool? And they got him on a split screen. I'll just show you what happened, then we'll talk about it. Let's see it, Kyra.
What happened?
Hey, look, it's Dave Matthews. Seriously? Pretty cool. Dave Matthews in the house. Oh my gosh. If only that guy knew. Somebody just tell him he's out in the bleachers. Dave's behind the plate.
Bring that beer to Dave Matthews.
Bring that beer to Dave Matthews.
And try the XL on the shirt.
Not the schmedium?
Not the schmedium, no.
We're here to help with Sunday Night Baseball. The 1-2.
All right, Bennett, that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
This man just enjoyed a baseball game last night. He put on his Dave Matthews shirt, and he's just in the bleachers. And then he becomes a meme.
Yeah.
He goes viral because David Cohn, former Met, former Yankee, former Met, is the color analyst there. And basically, makes a fat joke.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
It kind of hit me a little bit.
I mean, I am that guy.
So here's the thing: is the guy, as someone who also enjoys a beer at a ball game.
How you feel about I don't know if you notice. Sometimes my shirt will get a little tight.
It looks like it fits you just fine.
No, this fits fine.
Yeah,
but sometimes
I like them a little looser.
But sometimes I'll get cocky and I'll be like, I'll throw this medium on right now.
Me too. And here's the thing about this.
Sometimes I get cocky.
And about beer drinkers in general.
Yeah.
Okay, is you put that shirt on when you probably got an empty stomach. You're feeling not like when you're looking at yourself in the mirror about to go out. You're feeling slim. You probably got an empty stomach.
Yep.
You're looking at yourself. You're kind of sucking in a little bit, and it's like, okay, this looks good on me. This looks good. Then you get to the ballpark, you have some nachos, you have a couple beers, that belly starts extending, and that shirt, like if maybe you wore they said schmedium in that video, so let's say he was wearing a medium, maybe it should have been a large because you didn't take into account the expansion that was going to happen when you were at the ballpark.
It's we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. I sympathize with this man.
I sympathize with him too.
I know what
I thought
it's like,
that was a BS comment.
I know what it's like to be that fella.
Yeah.
All right? Because here's the truth. I'm right in between sizes. I'm right in between. I struggle. I never know which way to go.
Really?
And sometimes I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes I make the wrong decision.
Oh, I do all the time.
Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I can rock this medium.
Yeah.
And then I get it, and it's like,
look at you rocking mediums, man. That's impressive.
I can rock a medium. But there are times when I shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know?
I got you.
And so I know that people have looked at me and said that exact same thing. Except I don't have to hear it on national television. I mean I do. I go on TV and then people be like, look at that fat guy, looks like a penis, right? You know, I got to deal with that. Yeah, have I ever been called a fat penis? Yes. Yes, I have. All right? But I'm also but I put myself.
It's what you get for making fun of that Memphis basketball court all those years ago.
I put myself in position to do this, right? I am going on TV. It's my job. And if you don't want to be called a fat penis, you know what? Maybe grow your hair and get on the treadmill, fatty, right? This fellow was just going to a baseball game.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you can see him when they go back to him. He's on his phone. Clearly people are like, man, you're on TV. And it's like, oh, what are they saying? Oh, David Cone just called you fat. Tough.
And the thing is seeing that video, I did not see that and think, dude, your shirt's too tight. I mean, sure, it's snug, but it's snug, but like.
I just feel like you should leave that guy alone.
Yeah.
I just feel like you should leave that guy. There was a thing with David Letterman. You might not remember this. Like 50,000 years ago, they had, this woman, I think she was on a bench like in Central Park eating like a peach or something. And it was just all over her face. And they would just show it. It became a thing on Letterman. And, we would all laugh at it. But as I got older, I was like, that's just a woman who was sitting in Central Park. And now she's famous for being gross eating a peach. We made this woman into a joke. And she was just by herself in Central Park. Should we really be doing this? I think no. And I think no last night too.
I think no.
I think David Cone, I think he made a mistake.
Yeah, don't fat shame.
No fat shaming.
No.
Right? Should the guy have had a bigger shirt? Probably.
Maybe.
Should he maybe have a better shirt than Dave Matthews? Perhaps.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't think we got to call him a fat guy on TV.
I don't either.
I mean, he's drinking beers at the bleachers at Wrigley.
Those beers will expand. You'll expand
He
quickly.
He probably knows. All right.
You get 3 of those in your system. You need a different shirt size.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
I mean, I am that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, but I've been that guy before.
Me too.
I hope he recovers okay.
I do too.
But it's going to be tough. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Shall we talk about our favorite NBA Finals MVPs? Number 3 is a little bit of Canadian history because it's the first and only NBA championship that the country as a whole has. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard's second Finals MVP. I still get my little heart warm even thinking about it, and I was there watching every game. IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. We have another edition. This will be the 3rd edition of the Debate Club. You guys are going to sell a shoe to Mr. Bennett Doyle, our producer over here.
Oh, yeah.
I saw these.
I've seen these.
I saw these on social media too.
It's the perfect house shoe.
I know, right?
Like, yeah, it's not even a house shoe. I bet you they're really comfortable. You heard of unisex. This is unifoot. Oh, my God.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Look at the score. Look at the score you just did. Hey, but look at the bench though.
Look at number 3.
Right before I walked in the locker room, Danny Eaves pulled me to the side and said, hey, Tony Allen, come here. Let me give you a little basketball etiquette. When you're down 40, do not do an in-game windmill. It's just disgusting for the game.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
The Grizz Girls are no ordinary dance team. They're known across the NBA for setting the standard for world-class dance and entertainment. From hip-hop to jazz, the Grizz Girls do it all. And they're looking for talented dancers with dynamic personalities to join the team. Do you have what it takes to join a premier NBA dance team and entertain Grizz Nation both on the court and in the community? Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information and show us what you've got at open auditions Saturday, July 13th.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this thing up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but I think the two most important things that we can apply to our own lives, if we're trying to figure out how to apply this to our own lives, you know, lessons learned.
Yep.
We're not going to fat shame people at baseball games.
Never.
Like, you're at you should be able to be fat at a baseball game.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be at my fattest.
I agree.
You know?
Food is a part of that whole thing.
It
food
really
and
is.
beer, yeah. Food and drinking is a part of that.
Like, you know what? I'm going to eat something unhealthy on a stick.
Yeah.
I'm going to put something unhealthy on a stick, and I'm going to pay $30 for it and eat it.
Yeah.
That's what going to a baseball game's about. This poor fella just trying to drink beers and sit in the bleachers and watch a baseball game. Next thing you know, David Cohn's calling him a fatty on TV. I don't think that's right.
I don't either.
You know what else isn't
I don't
right?
appreciate that. What?
Gift registries for 6-year-olds.
Crazy.
Don't do it.
This ain't a wedding.
It ain't a wedding. Ain't no 6-year-old getting married. Not in this part of the country, at least. All right? No registry. Just be appreciative that anybody shows up at your little 6-year-old's birthday party, because nobody wants to be there. It sucks, and the cake's probably not even that good either.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I know I'm right.
What's today's biggest game?
Oh. Woo!
Game 7. Oh, is that not the biggest game?
You tell me what the biggest game is.
Okay, JB told me this was the biggest game in the history of the NHL.
She might be right. I ain't trying to close this show by arguing with her. Okay? But you know what else we have tonight? It's not a game 7, but it's a game 3.
Okay.
And it's a pivotal game 3.
Oh, it's the College World Series.
What's bigger?
More local interest, too, I think.
More local interest, definitely, in Tennessee, Texas A&M than in Edmonton, Florida. But 2 championships will be won tonight.
How about that? You don't get that very often.
You don't get this very often.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a night.
Yeah, this is a big night in sports.
It's a big night in sports, Bennett.
That's unexpected.
You know what? I think
Monday, June 24th.
I think since we have 2 championships being delivered tonight, I might ask you to pick 2 games.
Okay.
Oilers, Panthers. We're going to do it down at Sunrise, Florida. Oh, man, it's a pick'em.
Yeah.
A game 7 pick'em?
Yeah, I love that.
I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this on. I don't know how closely I watch it, but I'm going to turn it on.
Yeah.
Edmonton -110, Florida -110. How you going to act?
Edmonton.
Connor McDavid?
Yeah, I want the Oilers to complete the comeback, man. They were down 3-0.
You don't see that every day.
Never. I don't think it's been done since the 40s, I believe.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Oh, JB had the
Oh,
stat.
somebody thinks they're Barry Melrose.
Yeah. No, not Bennett Melrose
Big
over here.
bet Barry Melrose. Okay.
No.
So you're taking Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's Texas A&M and Tennessee. Tennessee is -260 to win their first baseball championship in school history. Let me get you that price on A&M. Updated price, -245. I can get you A&M at +185. How you going to act?
We're kind of rooting for the Vols here, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I want the Vols. They lost game 1, but they bounced back and won game 2. So here we are.
I think they're going to lose.
Oh, Bennett.
I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose.
You couldn't do it. You couldn't see it to the end. At the end of the day, Memphis Tiger came out in you.
I think they're going to lose. But you said it was what? Minus?
I can get you A&M at +185. That's big plus money. But I can get you Tennessee at -245. You got to pay a big price. How you going to act?
I promised I was going to change
You
my
did
ways.
promise. You did promise.
I'll take the Vols.
Vols minus
Yeah, I'll take the Vols.
245, Edmonton minus 110. Those are the plays tonight. You enter tonight, negative 17.6 units.
Jesus.
This could be a turnaround night for you. I don't know if it is, but it could be.
I don't feel great about it, but
I mean, you never.
We're going with the heart tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
It'll be
What
fun.
are we watching on TV?
Raw, 7 o'clock,
Yep.
USA. You got your passion back?
I do have my passion back.
I think I do
I'm
too.
back.
Drew McIntyre's back.
Drew's back.
He quit last week and came back on Friday.
Jacob Fatu made his WWE debut.
Ooh, he's wild.
He's crazy. He's the
a
craziest
wild
one.
fella. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to be able to keep him under control.
That's what they were worried about when he was rumored to be joining.
Bloodline's
wild.
They are wild.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear him chanting the other night?
Mm-hmm.
We want Roman.
And we do.
Slow
burn, though.
Solo said he ain't coming back.
He'll be back.
Solo's speaking
He's
out
gonna
of
beat
turn.
Solo's ass.
Solo's going to get what's coming to
Yeah,
him
he is.
eventually.
He is.
Tonight, Drew McIntyre expected to return to Raw, 7 o'clock USA Network.
What's the best thing we've read?
Just Google. Antoine Hill, highest rated recruit, Memphis football history. That happened this weekend. Got real national headlines. Read all about it. It's a big day for Tiger football.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
All right, tomorrow's Tuesday. That means Chris Vernon in studio. We'll talk NBA draft with him. We'll look back on Game 3, College World Series, Game 7, Stanley Cup Final. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. We'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.